peculiar institution. Slavery was an issue in America from the 17th to mid-19th centuries. It obviously involved the enslaving of Africans, and many political debates erupted from this issue. Abolitionists formed and reformers fought for the abolishment of slavery and equal social and political rights for these African Americans. The Compromise of 1850 was 5 separate bills passed by the United States Congress September 1850. It diffused a 4-year-long political confrontation between slave and free states regarding the status of territories acquired during the Mexican-American War. The compromise was drafted by Henry Clay and brokered by Stephen Douglas. This reduced sectional Uncle Tom's Cabin was written by Harriet Beecher Stowe, who was a teacher at the Hartford Female Seminary and an active abolitionist. The anti-slavery novel, Will Kaufman claimed, helped lay the groundwork for the Civil War. This novel depicts the reality of slavery while also insinuating that Christian love can overcome the evils of enslavement. The Kansas-Nebraska Act was a bill passed in 1854 that mandated popular sovereignty. States got to decide whether slavery would be allowed. This bill was made to organize Western territories and determine the absolute legality of slavery. John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry. On October 16, 1859, John Brown, a radical abolitionist, and his supporters captured prominent citizens and seized the Federal Army and arsenal. They hoped local slaves would join the raid, and whatever weapons they succeeded in receiving would be given to the slaves. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo and the Mexican Secession was a peace treaty between the United States and the Mexican Republic signed on February 2, 1848. This ended the Mexican-American War, and Mexico gave up much of its northern territory. In exchange, the U.S. gave Mexico $15 million and protection to all Mexicans living in the Northern Territory.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that African Americans, both enslaved and free, were not American citizens and cannot sue in federal court. Dred Scott had been attempting to buy his family's freedom, but was refused by his dead master's widow.
The Gag Resolution was the law that prohibited discussion, consideration, or debate of a specific topic to be talked about by legislative members. It was passed by Congress from 1836 to 1844 that no petition concerning slavery shall enter the House. Nat Turner's Rebellion, also known as the Southampton Insurrection, was a slave rebellion that took place in Southampton County, Virginia, during the August of 1831, led by Nat Turner. Denmark Vesey's revolt was led by Denmark Vesey and, to a lesser extent, Peter Poyas. Vesey was a smart, literate African-American who had bought his own freedom, and was also the only free black to partake in this revolt. The revolt was planned to occur in May of 1822, but the abolitionist movement was a movement to end slavery and the slave trade in the United States. It opened the eyes of the Northerners to what was going on in the South with slavery. The Anti-Slavery Society held meetings to promote anti-slavery views and made pamphlets that argued slavery as a social. The Second Great Awakening was a religious revival from the 1790s into the 1830s that fundamentally changed the character of American religion. It included greater public roles. The American Colonization Society was founded by Reverend Robert Finley in 1816 to assist free black people in emigrating to Africa. Finley thought that blacks were a threat. The nullification crisis was a sectional crisis from 1832 to 1833 during the presidency of Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson enforced the tariff of 1828. The Lincoln-Douglas debates was a series of formal political debates between the challenger and the incumbent. These debates launched Lincoln into a position of The Talmadge Amendment was a proposed amendment to a bill requesting the territory of Missouri be admitted as a free state, which could further restrict the weight of the South in the Union. It was submitted February 3rd. Gabriel Prosser's revolt was an unsuccessful revolt to kill all the white men except for the Methodists, Quakers, and Frenchmen at Richmond, Virginia. It was in the Virginia and Kentucky Resolution was legislation passed in 1798 and 1799 that represented the stance that the Alien and Sedition Acts were unconstitutional. They were all there. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin on March 14, 1794. This invention allowed for short staple cotton to be more easily removed from the fiber. The U.S. Constitution was a document made by Congress and put into effect in 1789. It was put in place to address important issues and solidify the new laws of a new government. The Northwest Ordinance was the act of Congress of the Confederation of the United States passed July 13, 1787. This ordinance created the Northwest Territory, which was the first organized territory. The election of 1860 was the 19th presidential election held November 6, 1860. It served as the immediate impetus for the outbreak of the Civil War.
created using Powtoon.